Hello everyone, my name is Sharkbarks, but you can call me Minnow. And this is the first talking video I've done in a hot minute. And by hot minute, I mean I think it's literally been like 3 years. So hi, I'm Minnow. I am a OC artist and animator, aspiring mostly. And today for you all, I am going to be redesigning some of my Minecraft OCs. Minecraft is a very popular game, and judging by this poll, everyone loves it. Ignore that it says 11 votes. No, it doesn't. These votes are from my brain-rotted friends. Yes, I'm calling you out right now. Speaking of brain rot, with that one heck of a movie that came out earlier this year, I felt like now was a great time to share my OCs and my own world building for Minecraft because I think I can do it better than an entire movie company. Today, I'm redesigning and rewriting 3 of my OCs, Caspian, Pix, and Zephyr. First, a little bit of background on them. The year is 2021. I've been an animal/furry artist pretty much my whole life, but during quarantine I started learning a bit more about drawing people so I could make fan art for certain Minecraft-related characters. Yes, it was the dream SMP, I'm not ashamed to admit it. While this hybrid fixation lasted, I also got into the Origins SMP that went on for a little bit, and the idea of the Origins mod itself really intrigued me. If you're unfamiliar with what the Origins mod is, the summary is that at the start of the game, it allows you to pick a different origin, usually based off of a different mob or biome, and it'll give you different special abilities that you can play the game with. So I got out my sketchbook and came up with 2 characters, a little fox girl named Pix and her Endarian friend named Caspian. Zephyr came in a bit later, but they were some of my very first humanoid characters. Nowadays, my art has improved a lot, along with my character design and writing skills, so I feel it's time that they all get a glow up. So these guys are from a little storyline called Origins Story, haha, which is a fantasy story based on Minecraft and the Origins mod. The story itself has a lot of my own world building, and I'll talk a little more about it later on in the video, maybe? But the goal for these guys is to maybe turn them into a webcomic. Big maybe. I cannot make promises because I don't know what's gonna happen over the next few years, man. But the story synopsis is an Endarian is sent from the End into the overworld to track down a missing Endarian princess. Along the way, he meets an avian cast out from his home and a mischievous little fox who may cause more trouble for them than they bargained for. That's pretty much the synopsis. Let's get into the redesigns. First up for a redesign was Caspian the Endarian. I've always pictured him as the main character in the story. Even though all 3 characters are technically main characters, the story does kind of take place in his point of view. Caspian works as a covert operative, or a covert soldier, like a secret agent in the End Kingdom. In his original design, he was not giving spy at all. My guy was just wearing a shirt and pants. How are you supposed to sneak around in this? Your flashy jewelry is ruining everything. So the first step in his redesign was giving him a dark outfit fit for his occupation. As much as I wanted to add lots of detail, I needed it to be actually functional, so it ended up being rather minimal. Simple body armor on his waist and arms, a hood and a mask to hide his face, and a small bag to hold whatever he needs. He can also use what I call particle magic to summon all kinds of different weapons, so he didn't need a ton of space to store things. I'll get more into what exactly magic does later in the video. So Caspian had never been to the overworld. Endarians aren't really allowed to go there because of the laws of their kingdom, but this mission gave him special access. His mission, and really his general goal, was to go unnoticed and just find the missing princess. This plan went well until one day it started to rain and Caspian discovered Endarians and water don't get along. It's hard to hide when your skin is burning and you can't hold back screams, which led a certain avian right to him. Zephyr was able to lead him to shelter. As he had never seen an Endarian in person before, Zephyr is understandably very curious about Caspian. Normally, Caspian would never trust a stranger, and would certainly never speak of the high-priority mission he was on. But so far, his progress had been going nowhere, and he was entirely unfamiliar with the overworld. He needed a guide, and that guide needed to know where to take him. Back to the redesign itself, I absolutely love how he turned out. He finally looks like how I picture him in my head, which is fantastic. And I like the changes I made to his physical appearance, and in turn Endarians. Like for example, I'm glad I scrapped the paws and instead just gave him these long, deer-like legs without hooves. It makes them look really elegant. And how it changed the hair or plume of fur at the end of their tail into something more akin to a fin. Also paw pads, my beloved paw pads. Overall, it's just a major improvement, and it's so fun to see how far I've come since his first design. Next up is Pix. For her redesign, she didn't really need a drastic change. I wanted to keep her vibe the same, but give her kind of a new look and a new feel. And also everything is a lot more cohesive now. The most major change I probably have made was making her more creature. Look at her. She's just a little creature. I also made changes to her character, but I'll get to that more in just a second. She's a vulpine, or vulpin. I haven't really decided how I want to pronounce it yet, but she's a fox origin. Her design is based on a cross fox. In her original design, all the colors were rather muted and not really cross fox-like, so I made them darker and more accurate. I also gave her skin some melanin because she was extremely pale. This girl got no sun. She wears an oversized sweater, a shoulder bag, and a green bandana. Again, not too much needed to change or be added for her, she just needed that glow up. I think my favorite thing about her redesign was giving her more animalistic features, so that she was more fox than human. She just looks so small and soft. Important things about Pix's character before we get into a bit of story. I've aged her down from 15 years old to 11. Her character was already super childish anyways, and I feel like it just made more sense to have her younger for the new direction I wanted to take the story. Also, she's mute. I wonder what hyperfixation inspired that. Anyways. Pix was found by Caspian and Zephyr after she attempted to steal their food. Caspian was immediately concerned for this dirty child who was all alone out here, and Zephyr tried to shoo her off. Caspian had his own rough childhood, so he was sympathetic towards Pix, asking her if she wanted to come along with them. Pix was hesitant at first, but after they offered to feed her, she accepted with eager nods. It didn't take long for Caspian and Zephyr to realize she was mute. Pix's past is a mystery to the two guys. Zephyr is the one specifically trying to figure her out, since he knows vulpines were supposed to be extinct after a tragedy a couple of years ago. Even with trying to teach her how to write so she can communicate better, it seems she doesn't want to answer any questions about where she came from or where her family is. She is incredibly attached to Caspian. She often follows him around everywhere and only feels safe when sleeping next to him. Caspian enjoys her company and frankly finds her adorable. On the other hand, Pix doesn't like Zephyr, and Zephyr doesn't like Pix. She sees him as a big chicken and enjoys pulling pranks on him, and has tried to cook him on several occasions. Finally, we have Zephyr, and I started his redesign, and then I hated it. I hated it so much. So I scrapped it and then took like probably over a month trying to figure out what I wanted to do for him. I collected a bunch of references and different characters that I felt like brought the theme across, and now he finally looks like how he's supposed to. Zephyr is an avian, and while making this design, I actually started thinking of some new world building and design features for avians in my story. Originally, they were just young or not fully developed elytrians, having to go through some kind of trial or ceremony to earn their wings. But I started liking the idea that they were just a different origin entirely, based more on prehistoric raptors than birds. This means that I did have to scrap the avians being vegan in the original Origins mod, but you know, it's my story now, I don't have to follow everything. So I did things like gave Zephyr a long claw on the inner side of his talons and a long, thick tail. Zephyr grew up in an avian town in the chilly northern part of the overworld. Avians live in tight-knit communities, and they are a very social race. Their clans mean everything to them. The only thing as important to community is the hunt. Avians are known as the overworld's hunters. Their way of life and hierarchy revolves around it. Not just hunting for food, but for sport as well. Zeph was always ambitious and skilled, and was on his way to becoming a hunter at the age of 20 like every other teen in his clan. Everything changed for him after he witnessed the death of one of his friends and was then framed for murder. He was exiled from his home and found himself alone, something avians never can really fathom. He headed south with no real goal in mind, just kind of trying to wrap his head around everything that had happened. After traveling for a bit, he met Caspian and offered to be his guide. For his redesign, I based his colors off of black-shouldered kites and gave him very minimal clothing, as I imagine avians prefer to be lightweight. He also has weapons like a crossbow and some daggers that he uses to hunt and to defend himself. I obviously love all these characters, but before I wasn't always the biggest fan of Zephyr, but I think with his cool new redesign he is definitely at the same level as the other two. And there we have it! Those are my 3 main characters for Origins Story. I love how they look, they're some of my favorite OCs. And these guys are on Artfight. If you want to attack them, maybe, that would be really cool if you want to attack them. I'd really like that. If you're watching this in the future, after Artfight, you can bookmark them for next year, I guess. Teehee. If this video does well, I will make a video going into their world building, because I feel like that would be cool, and I love to yap about my OCs and my world building. But I will give a little bit right now. My script does end here, so this is going to be off the top of my head, bear with me. I'm just going to be mostly going into Endarians, Vulpines, maybe a little bit of Avians, and just the world in general. So Endarians call themselves the children of the Ender Dragon. The Ender Dragon is pretty much their queen, everyone worships her, and she's kind of the big boss of the End. However, there is a royal family that are Endarians who are most closely related to the Ender Dragon. So that missing princess Caspian is looking for is from that royal family. Endarians are fiercely hierarchy-based, so like the royal family is on top, and the lower in class you were born, the kind of lesser you are treated, or the less things you have, and it's very hard to climb the ladder. All their rules are pretty strictly enforced, especially the one about not going to the overworld. The only portal back into the overworld is fiercely guarded in the middle of the castle, and they are taught very little about what is in the overworld. They are basically told that the origins there wage a lot of wars and that the Endarians don't want anything to do with that, so they've completely blocked off access. It's a little bit corrupt, I will admit. Like, yeah, that's the point. In the overworld, there are many different kinds of origins. I should have a complete list if I make the world building video, but to sum it up, they're all hybrids with different mobs or just adapted to different environments. And there are also humans. Vulpines live a lot like hobbits in The Lord of the Rings. Very simple lives, you know, very social, keep out of the big folks' way. But then, of course, something happened, and Vulpines are extinct now. Oh no, except for Pix. I wonder what's going on there. And then Avians, they are actually not just found in the north like Zephyr, that's just where he lives, they're found everywhere. And once again, they're pretty much the hunters. And don't actually always have the best reputation. I won't really go into that since I kind of want it to be a webcomic thing, if I make this dang webcomic. But yeah, they hunt for food and they hunt for sport. Basically any large creature in the overworld that's hard to kill, the Avians love to hunt them. And like I said before, the world is just a lot more fantasy. Think like your average D&D world. I think that's the best way to explain it. There's not really any magic except for, as I previously mentioned, Endarians can use particle magic. And enchanting things, which I'm going to expand upon a lot more in eventual world building, originates from the End. Basically, Endarians, with differing levels of particles in their bodies, can do different things with said particles. All Endarians use their particles to teleport. That's an innate trait that each one has, but some can use them for different things, mainly creating objects, like what Caspian can do, and others can use them to basically make things float or move things or teleport other objects that aren't themselves. And I guess some of those magic particles leaked into the overworld, and that gave us enchanting. So once again, my script ended a while ago and now I'm just rambling. So if you liked these guys, please let me know. I would love to make a world building video if there is interest for it. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching. I hope to make a couple more videos like this in the future. I really like talking about my OCs. I have so many. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye!